Welcome to this episode of the Harpreet Singh Show. In today's segment, we'll talk to Dr. Kala Singh on the importance of turban as to what is the heritage of the turban, why is the turban important, and in all the cultures all across the world, why the turban has been given significance. Let's welcome Dr. Kala Singh. Dr. Sahab, welcome to the program.
Vaheguru Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh, Harpreet Singh Ji. So today we will talk about heritage of the turban.
Right.
Especially in English, so that our English-speaking audience can also understand.
Right.
So first, I'll explain what is heritage.
Right.
Heritage means inherited from the past. The turban has been inherited from thousands of years
Right.
by almost all cultures, all religions, and almost all countries. In the process of so-called modernization,
Right.
somehow the turban got replaced by hat and by skull cap.
Okay.
Nowadays, the turban is commonly associated with the Sikhs and with the Muslims.
Right.
Though the Sikhs have been in Americas for more than a century,
Right.
somehow they have not been able to popularize the turban
Right.
in Americas. The turban came more into focus in Americas after September 11 attack
Right.
on Twin Towers, when, with the pictures of Osama bin Laden donning a turban shown on the TVs. Only then people came to know about the turbans.
Right.
Since then, many Sikhs have been attacked by Americans, mistaking them to be Muslims.
Right.
Where I will be talking about historical and spiritual significance of the turban in different cultures, religions, and countries at the same time, I will try to differentiate between Sikh and the Muslim turban.
Okay.
How to differentiate between two of them.
Right.
Because turban has been in almost all the countries, it is named differently in different countries. Like now, I would like to apologize in the beginning because my pronunciation in different cultures
Right.
might be different. Like in Muslims, what they say, it could be different, or in Christianity, what they say is different. So pardon me for that. I'll take this opportunity to ask for it.
Right.
In Persian, it is called Dulband or Sarband.
Okay.
In Turkish, it is called tulband. Italian, Spanish, and Portuguese, it is called turbante.
Okay.
Dutch call it tulbans. Romanians call it tulipan. French call it turbant. English, naturally, turban.
Right.
And ancient Egyptians called it pizr.
Okay.
And from that pizr, Indians, I think, call it pagri
Right.
or pag. And the Sikhs call it the star. So these are different names.
So from the names, what you are telling, Dr. Sahab, this means that this the concept of wearing the turbans has been continuing through ages?
Through ages,
Okay.
thousands of years. Now, about the relevance of turban, the turban has been quoted in the Old Testament. So
Okay.
you can see that how old it is.
Right.
When we talk about the relevance of turban in the Old Testament, it is a symbol of royalty.
Okay.
It's written in Isaiah 62, 2 to 10. Again, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it
problems.
wrong.
Right.
For Jerusalem's sake, I will speak out until her light shines forth like the sunrise, her deliverance like a blazing torch, until the nations see the triumph of your right, and all kings see the glory. Then you shall be called by a new name, which the Lord will pronounce with his own lips. You shall be glorious crown in the Lord's hand, a kingly turban in the hand of your God. In Exodus 39:27, it's written, they made the tunic of fine linen, woven work of Aaron and his sons, the turban of fine linen,
Okay.
the tall head dress and their bands, all of fine linen, the drawers of finely woven linen, the sash of woven linen, as the Lord had commanded Moses. In Zechariah 3:4-9, it's written, looking at Joshua dressed in dirty clothes, angel of God said, take off his dirty clothes, clothe him in splendid robes of state, and put a clean turban on his head. I have taken away your iniquity from you. It was a symbol of missionary zeal. Exodus 39, they made a rosette of pure gold
Right.
as a symbol of their holy dedication, and inscribed on it as the engraving on a seal, holy to the Lord, and they fastened it on a violet brand to fix it on the turban at the top as the Lord had commanded Moses.
Right.
In Babylonians, it was a symbol of youth and it as a symbol of strength.
Right.
In Ezekiel 23, 14 to 17, it's written, belts were around their waists, and on the heads, turbans with dangling ends. All seemed to be high officers and looked like Babylonians, natives of Chaldea. It was a symbol of justice and a symbol of charity.
Right.
Job 29:14. I had dressed myself in righteousness like a garment.
Right.
Justice for me was a cloak and turban. I was eyes for the blind and feet for the lame. Now here we finish with the Old Testament. Now with the Muslims, that is the second most oldest religion.
Right.
Now in Muslims, there are few quotes from Prophet Muhammad.
Ji.
The turban is a frontier between faith and unbelief. My community shall not fall away so long as they wear turban.
Right.
Wear turbans, for thus you will gain in generosity. At the day of the judgment, a man shall receive a light for each turn of the turban around his head. Now, there are some other hadiths in Quran,
Right.
in which, like in Bukhari Sharif, volume 1, page 33, Hazrat Amir bin Umayya ad-Damuri reports, I saw Nabi making masah of his kafeh and turban.
Okay.
Hazrat Hurath reports that Nabi addressed the people while wearing a black turban. That is in Muslim Sharif, volume 1, page 439.
Right.
Shamail Tirmizi, page 8. In another narration, it is reported, I saw Nabi wearing a black turban.
Okay.
So that means Prophet Muhammad himself was also
turban.
wearing a turban.
Right.
Now, throughout the Islamic world, the turban still continues to be used by
Right.
the monarchy in place of Quran.
Okay.
And this is a very popular hadith which has been quoted. Turbans are the crowns of the Arabs.
Right. So it is in all, we see that all across, irrespective of which region they were, the turbans were predominant and people were wearing it.
Were wearing
We'll
it.
continue with the discussion with more information after this short break. Once again, welcome back to the program. In today's segment, we are talking to Dr. Kala Singh, who is explaining the importance of the turban, that is, what is the heritage of the turban and why we should be proud of this particular turban. Dr. Sir, once again, as you were telling that across various cultures, it has been worn. And
Yes.
you're talking about the Old Testament, you've talked about Holy Quran also, and the hadiths which have been written. So in the Mid-East culture also, you were talking that there are different scriptures which talk about the wearing of the turban.
About the turban. So we were talking about the turbans in Muslim world.
Right,
So the Muslim wear it in place of crown.
right,
Even the Muslim emperors who ruled over India, like Jahangir, Akbar, Shah Jahan, I got pictures of them.
right,
They all wore colorful turbans
right,
with a crest, and the turban is decorated with pearls and with diamonds
Right.
and rubies.
Okay.
This was a with the royalty. Our
Right.
the last Mughal emperor of India, Bahadur Shah, also wore a turban.
Right, so it was a tradition of where the rubies and diamonds were embedded on it, which showed the royalty, the
Royalty.
splendor.
Yes, it was only for the royalty,
Okay.
but the general, like Sufis or Muslim Sufis also wore turban. I've got a picture of a Muslim Sufi
Right.
wearing the turban, it's like a cloth
Okay.
of bright color, just wore it on the head.
Right.
This is one specific thing that with the Muslim turbans, most of them, they've got a one end hanging over the left shoulder.
Okay.
That's the specific of Muslim turban. Baba Sheikh Farid,
Right.
he wore a turban. The difference between other Muslim turbans and Baba Sheikh Farid's turban is that there is no end hanging down
Okay.
on the shoulder.
Okay.
It is just tied like a rope,
Right.
and then tied around the head.
Okay.
That's all.
Right.
And Ayatollah Khomeini of Iran, he also put the same type of turban
Right.
as Baba Farid
Okay.
put it. I've got Sultan of Oman, today's monarchy.
Right.
In the Middle East, they also wear colorful turban
Right.
with one end hanging down from the left shoulder.
Okay.
Osama bin Laden, he also put like tie it like a rope,
Right.
collect it and then tie it around the head with the one hand, and that is called Afghani turban.
Okay.
And during Taliban time, in fact, they in Afghanistan they made an edict that everybody, all the children, everybody, all males have to wear the turban.
Right.
So I've got a picture of young boys going to school with the beautiful turbans. They
Right.
look very very handsome. And then there is a Baloch Sardar.
Okay.
Baloch turban is again same like Muslims put,
Right.
Afghans put, but the difference is that in Baloch turban, both ends are hanging down.
Okay. So it's
You
not
know-
just one end on the left hand shoulder.
Yeah,
it's
it
both
is.
the
It
sides.
is. It is both
Okay.
hands. And there is another specific turban in Muslims. They have got a cap called Kalan Suwa cap.
Okay.
It is a bright colored, multicolored cap. It is put on the top of the head, on the
Right.
crown, and then the turban is woven around it,
Okay.
with one end hanging down on the left shoulder,
Right.
and the other hand going up.
Up. Okay.
Yeah.
Coming
the-
out of the turban.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And then there is another type of, I won't say it as a turban, but it is a head dress.
Okay.
It was put by Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat.
Right.
Yeah, it is called kafia.
Okay.
So kafia, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm sorry. So kafia is what Palestinians put.
Right.
Is a black and white colored, and kafia which Jordanians and Iraqis put.
Right.
It is a red and white colored. So by the color of the kafia, you can see that you can make out that which region of Middle East people belong to.
Right.
Yeah. Now we come to Indian turbans. After talking about all those things.
Right. So India also has had a rich heritage, and there have been various states, and the people have been wearing turbans all across, irrespective
all.
whether from the north to the east, to the west, to the south. Everywhere the turban has had its own significance.
But one must take into consideration that though it was worn in all the states, but it was reserved only for high caste and rich aristocrats.
Okay.
Those people who belong to lower castes and lower classes, they were not allowed to wear the turbans.
Okay.
And when Muslims started ruling over India,
Ji.
they banned Indians wearing the turban, and it was replaced by cap. It was as a sign of slavery.
Okay.
Only those people who worked in the royal court were allowed to wear the turbans,
Right.
Hindus. Now here, only the Sikhs, they continued wearing turbans
Right.
in spite of ban by the Muslim rulers.
Right.
And this is not the only thing they banned. They banned even Indians riding a horse,
Okay.
and Sikhs continued riding the horses.
Right.
There's another thing which they banned, which is not related to the turban, is for the women.
Ji.
In fact, what tradition they started at that time was that all Indian women, Indian girls,
Right.
must wear a nose ring
Right.
when they were young. And this nose ring is a sign of slavery.
That's right.
Sikh women continued not to wear nose ring.
Right.
And then this the other tradition which they started was that when this young girl gets into puberty, she has to be taken to the local Muslim ruler
Right.
for deflowering. So once he deflowers this young girl, he replaces the nose ring with a nose stud.
Okay.
That is a symbol that now this girl has been deflowered by the ruler.
Right.
Now she can get married.
Okay.
But in Sikh women, even at that time, refused to wear either the stud
Right.
or the nose ring.
So it was a revolt against the kind of atrocities which were being committed, and
Committed,
the
yeah.
Sikhs took a bold stand against
Boldest-
this, and they continued fighting this thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I have got a picture of Maratha king Shivaji wearing a beautiful multicolored turban.
Right.
Again, decorated with pearls and diamonds and a crest.
Right.
And Tipu Sultan wearing a turban.
Right.
And a nobleman of Mysore wearing a turban.
Right.
Rajput Rathors, they also wore turbans.
Ji.
Kachwaha Rajputs, beautiful multicolored turban.
Right.
and but the turban is again just woven around the
Head.
Around the head.
Okay.
And Swami Vivekanand,
Right.
he also donned Kavi turban.
Right.
And Tilak of Maharashtra, also he also wore turban.
Right.
Madan Mohan Malviya,
Right.
a good picture. He also wore a turban. And there is a pink turban of an Indian state, a red turban of Rajasthan,
Right.
and Karnataka farmer
Right.
wearing a turban, yellow turban and Marwadi turban. So these are the different type of turbans.
Right. So
And
these were all across India. There were different types of turbans,
Turbans.
how they were wearing
At
it,
the
and it was
end-
different.
Yeah, at the end is the festive turban of Punjab.
Right, and definitely we would like to know much more in details about the importance of the Sikh turban, and this we will discuss in our next program. Thank you very much, Doctor, for bringing this issue forward about the heritage of the turban and how it has influenced our thoughts and how it has been worn not only in India, not only by the Sikhs, but all across the world. So we'll continue with the discussion next week. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.